Delgado.
Brandon Jay McLaren, Jack Landers, SPD Red.
John, no man, it's not working. I didn't do like that. It's not working.
Hello.
Test. John Tui, like me, like Kruger.
Oh no.
There you are.
Oh, okay.
Man, what are you doing, man?
So how does it feel 20 years since one of the best seasons of all time?
No. Really? I don't know. It makes me feel kind of old. Can everyone hear me, or do we? Okay, of course. We don't. Out of all the people here, we don't need me on a microphone. Believe me. But yeah. No, it feels like, especially now because I'm getting to meet fans who have grown. Like when I say grown up, have literally grown up. Like they were like I was 8 when this show came out. And now, they're almost 30, and they've lived such different lives. So when I meet these fans, it's such an incredible feeling of like legacy and like growing up. Anyway, that's what I gotta say about that. Thanks.
What was the question?
How does it feel after 20 years of one of the best seasons of all time?
Okay, well that's true. It was one of the best series of all time seasons. I feel nostalgic. I feel grateful to be able to still see these lunatics and be able to still somehow share unforgettable moments with how is that possible? It will always be a trip to me, no matter how long. I will be 80 years old and it'll still be a trip, so that's how I feel.
Just a lot of gratitude. I'm happy to see these guys. Happy to be here with y'all. 20 years is a long time. When it happened upon us, 20 years, it was it's like a little bit of melancholy, but then a lot of gratitude on the back end, I think. What was the question? 20 years.
The gift that keeps giving,
I love it.
All right.
So I'm wondering, after all these years, is there any memory that stands out to all of you in particular during filming the show that you think back on now and you're just like, wow, like this is amazing?
Do it more time. Yeah.
If you had to think of one memory during working on the show, during production, that sticks out to this day as one of the best moments of all time for you guys, what would it be?
I mean, I think, yeah. For me, I think a lot of like my best memories were like the stuff that we did when we weren't filming, because we hung out a lot just as like humans, not just, which is wild because we worked together all the time, and we were all in every single scene for 12 hours a day for like 6 months. But I remember like we went skydiving, and that was incredible, and I'll never do that shit again. But that was like one of my favorite, just like life memories, period.
Or how about when we did a play? We did a play at the end of the season. Yeah, and it was at your apartment, right? Or your apartment, you directed it. Yeah, and it was, we were like, we need to do some real acting. And we put on a play in the apartment. Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah. Or when you knocked out Allie's tooth.
I told you how I feel about talking.
Yeah, I agree.
It was an accident dancing.
It was an accident dancing.
We both were dipping each other.
Yeah, we did a lot of dipping.
We like it was like bam.
Yeah, there was a lot of dipping, a lot of champagne.
A lot of champagne, a lot of blood.
A lot of both. Yeah. Yeah.
John?
Yeah. In the suit, I saw thoroughly. And there were hot days and there were cool days, but it was hot. And the studio was small. They did a mechanical burn. Yeah, I did it. It was awesome.
Ron, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Got a short cord here. My name's Ron Wasserman. So I got called from Disney in 2005. When did the show? I know it came out 2005, right?
2006.
2006. So the call was the end of 2005, and they said, we want to get back to the origin of themes on Power Rangers, and we want this one to rock. So it took an afternoon, and I said, this theme's got to be harder, a little bit faster, and just more fun than the original Go-Go Power Rangers thing. And I finished it, and then I went to go visit family back east, and Disney called and said, are you ready for notes? And I said, yeah. Because you always get a ton of notes. It's like 20 people. They're like, I don't know, maybe it should be a bit more hip-hop, which happened the next year and all that. After SPD. No, with Mystic Force.
Definitely not.
Oh, no. I'm telling you the absurdity of notes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, that's what comes in. You deliver rock and they're like, well, it'd be cool, but you know, Britney Spears has this thing she does on her rock. Whatever. And they said, put a siren on it. That was it. I could do that. Got back to town, put the siren on, and that's it. Didn't have to change a thing. So I was very happy about that. Thank you. And none of us have ever actually met because, you know, we're in different worlds. You guys are doing all the work, and I finished the thing, and I'm like, and I would hurt myself doing what you do, you know.
You know, speaking of hurting yourself, John, for a second when you were talking about the suit, I actually thought you were going to go into the moments of like early Doggy Kruger of catching on fire.
Yeah, it was a. And then they took the fire and they started smoking up the back of it.
Greg was like working on the kinks while he was in the suit. So there was like some early moments where Greg was like, smell. Like, what did we smell?
It was fire.
Just like smoke
It
coming from
was fire.
his back. He was on fire. Yeah, his costume got us one. Was that like the John? Was that the
animatronic?
That's
awful.
yeah? Was it the first episode that we did?
It was the first day in the studio. Greg's first day as executive producer.
Yeah.
Greg's first day as director.
by fire. Literally.
I remember like the first scene I had with Doggy being like, my career's over. Like I'm talking to a dog head. I remember thinking, no, this is it. I'm like, this is. I'm like, this is
And look at you.
it.
And
No, but
look at you.
but I remember distinctly being like, what have I done?
Right.
You know, you've done a lot since then. You've been on The Rookie as of recently, Elijah Stone. And if I recall correctly, you had another new project that was recent, right?
Sorry.
You had another project recently?
Yeah, I have a new show coming out on Netflix in September, October called Wayward. So look out.
And then, John, I know you have Moana coming up as well.
Next year.
You're in Moana?
Yeah.
No! Oh my god! So
I get to play you.
Who are you in Moana?
The dad.
Stop! Oh my god, John Scooby, come on!
Excited for everyone to see. Yeah, just proud to be a Ranger. Proud to start my career with these
What?
talented, beautiful.
Oh my god.
this whole production?
I love it. It's just some superstars.
The other three of you, Matt, Monica, Ron, do you have any other projects going on now as well? You did a short film, right?
Well, I'm not in Moana or on a Netflix show. Y'all know I'm always doing stuff.
Yes, guys.
I got a new magazine coming out next month, so yeah, I'll find out more about that. Things are in the making.
Well, I took a little bit of an acting sabbatical for a bit, and I've recently returned, so I do have a few projects, but I can't announce anything yet. And I'm primarily focusing on being a screenwriter, so I've got a couple of scripts that will be made into movies soon, and you'll see my name on there. And Greg and I were going to announce together that we've been recording podcast episodes for our anniversary and discussing each episode of the show as we go along. And some episodes have a bunch of people on them, and some episodes are one-on-one. I know, Monica, you did one.
I just did one, and then I'm going to do one more because my special episodes were two. I had 2 episodes.
I'm hearing about this for the first time. What the fuck?
Greg has been waiting until he has a proof of concept to show your people, and he was like, let's announce that like it's coming out, but basically the thing is whether it takes the whole year or a little bit longer, is like each episode will be covered throughout the SPD's history that we were a part of.
It took us like hours to film, to talk about.
Yes.
We talked like every 2 minutes of the.
It's very thorough.
It's thorough.
It's very thorough.
Like the tea, okay?
Okay, like this is gonna be.
Like the tea.
Okay, this is like headliney shit.
Yeah.
And Brandon, you're gonna be a part of it too.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'll pass. Have it been released yet?
No, but he's gonna start to release.
Are you guys dropping it all at one time or just
No, one by one.
one by one?
Little morsels.
Okay, so 38 of those shits.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's why we're waiting, man. We're gonna call you in when when the time has come. Anyway, that's what we got going on.
I think it's very much worth mentioning that Greg brought Rick to the show. And so if you go on the exhibiting floor, you can see
He walked him here.
I think it's a great photo op, honestly. Everybody should go look at it. Everybody should just bask in the wonderful design. Mystic Force. I do want to ask, because Ron was nice enough to bring up the Mystic Force opening, we do have Solaris Night here as well. Between the 2 shows, did you have a favorite?
Dopest theme song ever? What the hell, man? We're right here. It's clearly SPD. Mystic Force is another great track.
I hate hand fans. Joking. No, it's fine. No, I wrote them a rock one. It was in, and that was the example where they then called and said, we have a couple of young producers on the show who are in the rap, and they want a rap version. So I did one, and I said I would put the C in front of the name, because that's what it is. And they called back and go, yeah, you're right, it's crap. And they went with somebody else. That was it. But I don't, it's fine. Whoever got it is fine. But, I thought they'd keep up with the rock thing. But that's life. And as for recent stuff, I just finished up, it would be season 5 of The Thundermans for Nickelodeon, so that's good. We'll probably get another one. And there's always a project going on. It never stops. Every time I turn off the computer and I'm like, I'm not looking at it, I'm not doing anything, and then I get an email like, well, that does sound interesting, a little jumpy, furry character for a credit card commercial. Okay, I'll do that. Who knows? So it's always going. That's good. Yeah, very, very, very lucky.
It's like Danny Elfman stuff, man.
This one was more like Strawberry Fields meets, Danny Elfman, which is, I just, my brain just goes, I don't know, let's do what we usually do. Don't go outside and hurt yourself, Ron.
A long time ago, there were a couple of Rangers that were actually a part of a show at Disney that they did at Disneyland. Did you guys get to see that at all? Because they did have a couple of SPD there.
Oh, yeah.
There is footage online. I recommend looking it up. I will come around and show you guys because it's amazing. Do you guys have any memories from doing press for the show where you had a wonderful experience at a venue or just anything that stands out during doing press?
Well, when we came back, right?
Yeah.
We went to Disney World for their anniversary.
Yeah, that was like press, right? Wouldn't that be considered press?
And then showed that ride.
Yeah, that was awesome. We went to Disney. We came back from New Zealand and went straight to Disney World. Yeah, and we got lightning. We went to all the rides, and we literally like went right to the front. Remember, and we could just go right back to the front. And yeah, that was pretty awesome. I think that was like the only thing we really did well as far as press. Yeah.
So
Roll the clips, is that what's gonna happen now? Maybe roll the clips, you guys forgot about this?
I know for us a projector next time would be an amazing thing actually. So what in all of your years signing for Power Rangers would you say is the coolest thing that has ever been brought to your table to sign?
That's a good question.
Aside from body parts, you mean, right? Signing somebody's body.
Oh, yeah.
You guys haven't done that. Right.
That's up there.
The first year when we did like the very first Power Morphicon, which was part of a Make-A-Wish thing for this kid named Zach, who had a tumor. That's what started the Power Morphicons. That moment like stands out, and because of that, and the show was still so fresh, it was the first time I had any experience with mobs of people asking me to do buttery. And people brought in, as I really hoped that they would, but they committed, and I love them for it. They would bring in any packaging that had the word butter on it. So they brought in like buttery popcorn, like wrappers. Someone brought in like a buttery like margarine lid for me to sign, buttery waffles, buttery pancakes. Texas garlic, buttery toast from the freezer. I think one person brought like a stick of butter in a Ziploc bag, and I just signed the Ziploc bag. And then people started coming with like t-shirts, and I was just like, is this gonna become a thing? And it became a thing. But I love it. Till the day I die, buttery. That's what I mean, okay.
I mean, nothing stands out to me. No, nothing really stands out. Nothing crazy. Yeah, sorry.
I learned an interesting fact actually last night that your whole season was dubbed over by the original Deca Ranger actors in Japan. It was so popular here and there that it actually got dubbed into Japanese your season.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's what.
Let's go to Japan, y'all.
Yeah.
To Japan.
We're
Yeah, if you're listening, we'll talk about this offline. That's really cool. Thank you. That would be great. I would love to go to Japan.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, let's work on that.
If you guys could go back and make any change to your characters during SPD, what is one change you would want to make?
My hair. Yeah, I hated my hair. It was terrible.
Do the hairstyle stuff.
You know, it was like after a certain point, it's like you couldn't change it, right? It's like all the pictures were taken, and it was like there was nothing anybody could do. But it was just like, oh God. Yeah.
I would have like used well, that's not my choice. I can't change that. But like they just never used my superpower about like walking through shit. Like
Yeah,
we did it once,
one time.
and then they forgot about it, and I was like, that's stupid.
Greg and I talk about that on the podcast.
Subscribe.
I'm trying to wonder, did the crossover, did they use your power at all when they brought you back as blue or red?
They did.
It was not forgotten. All right, so we're about halfway through. I would like to open it up to questions from the audience. If you guys would like to line up single file, if you have a question, we will get to you.
No questions? Oh. Okay, go ahead.
If you guys had to choose any team from, you guys had to pick any member from any team, who would you pick to team up with?
So for those who may not have heard
Xander, right? Like, yeah. I mean, but that's only because I worked with him from Mystic Force. Rich is his name, and he's like a charming motherfucker, you know. And he's just like a fun guy, and we became friends. So it'd be nice to team up with him again, you know. He's like Australian. No.
I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good with my team. I don't need to team up with somebody else. I'm good.
Now you're making me look like shit, man.
Hey, what was the question,
So the question for those who may not have heard it in the audience as well, if you could pick any ranger to team up with, who would it be?
I mean, Doggy Kruger and Sasha Schoolback. Because I love to play myself against myself.
Oh.
I work very hard, Ashley.
Very you.
Well, those two would be like in a room, bro.
Yeah.
Alright.
I loved that for you so much. That's happening. I was so happy that happened.
Right, that's happening.
So Power Rangers is a very unique experience for any young actor because it's almost like going through a boot camp. You have to act, you have to do stunts, and you have to do ADR. A lot of jobs don't have you doing all three. So what have you learned about the acting process, especially during those younger years, with your experience on Power Rangers?
That I hate ADR. I hate it. And I think they do this now. Because we used to do it every Sunday.
Saturday.
So we would work 5 days a week, and then on our 6th day, they'd have to do every week. And I was like, man, I do the same shit every week. There's so many ways I can say Kia. And I'm like, why don't you just keep a bank of them and just insert this so my ass doesn't have to come in on a Sunday and do the same shit that I did last Sunday. And I think they do that now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think eventually they're like, what are we doing? Like,
That's why he was Red Ranger. That's why he was casted as Red Ranger from an acting perspective. The character development, that whole series. You attach yourself to it, man. From an acting perspective, it's not many people can do this. Can show up, you can't show up to ADR and have a perspective, and then I put a camera in your face and then transfer it into a performance that we all sit there and go, oh, I believe your performance, bro. Every time we show up.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you for the lecture, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right.
Great questions.
This is for Purexels, the SPD. Were you guys kind of bumming guys in to do a team up with Mystic Force? Because that's how it goes every year.
We got gyms all the way around.
Yeah, they didn't like.
Say that.
She doubled down. Didn't you do a team up? Chris went back.
Yeah.
No.
So yes, the answer is I happened to get to go back to New Zealand. However, I did not get to come to New Zealand with these guys.
Yeah, they didn't bring it back.
And that sucked.
I mean, I think we were looking forward to it, and then when we
They told us it was gonna happen.
because like that's a Power Rangers tradition, and I think they just didn't want to spend the money because Disney doesn't have enough money, so they need to. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Good question, man. Thanks.
So seeing how you guys are like a top-based season, like you guys have the martial arts training, you have the exercise training and SPD. Can you tell me how you guys felt after each day of doing all that physical training and all those exercises? Like, how did that go?
For what?
For like the training before we.
Like how?
Oh, the boot camp?
Like yeah, the boot camp, like all that. Like how was like the physical? Like how were you physically like the next day after each filming? Like each we have to do all that.
Well, we did a 2-week boot camp before we started filming, which I was actually by the
It was
end.
just 2 weeks.
No, yeah, honestly, I was pissed because at the end of the series, like I had done like 0 of those moves, and I remember after boot camp, I could not walk. We did so many shoulder rolls. Do you remember?
Standing on my.
Yeah, like they were literally like we were in splits we couldn't do, and they were like laying on us, and like it was, and then we didn't use none of it. I was like, I'm not doing none of this back roll it was crazy. So pretty much the boot camp could have just been completely 86.
I think it was a lot more difficult for you guys because in the 90s, I think they just did a couple lines of blow and were flipping all over the place.
Well, that would have been better. Yeah, we want, yeah, trust us.
No, that's not a real fact.
Everybody's like. Yeah, you want to make a good question?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you guys ever have anything go mysteriously missing on set that you still have?
Oh, that's
Such a setup.
that is a setup. That was all the
It
boys.
was like entrapment.
Yeah. The girls were never a part of any of that. Me and Allie were just like,
Yeah, I took my jacket, my cadet jacket. It's at the table. And Matt took his cadet jacket. And good thing we did, because cut to 20 years later, they auctioned that shit off. And I would have had to spend $10,000.
that's so crazy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
But you know what? What they did give us was some. They gave us the. I can't do it.
Like a t-shirt?
You know,
I got my t-shirt too.
the stone.
Yeah, but that was
green
the
stone.
That was
Greenstone. What was it called then?
the special stone.
Yeah. What's it called?
Jay.
Yeah, but what's it called? Is there a name for it? Wasn't there like a name for it? But they were like the straight one. Like
Yeah, what's it called? It's like your guys' special stone, the green one.
Yeah,
It's like,
what?
it's
No, what do you call it? Puka? No. Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah. What's up, man?
I come from Japan. I'm assistant director in Japanese Power Rangers.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so did you have me watch Japanese SPD? Do you like it?
Yeah, we watched, so remember when Bruce had us watch the Deca Ranger, and there was the Pink Ranger, when she wanted to like solve crime, she would take a bath. And Bruce was like, we're not doing that. but remember she was in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And we were all like, this is the best shit I've ever seen. Yeah, so yeah, we watched a little bit. Sorry. I started taking it back.
Yeah.
We watched a bit of it on the front end before we started to shoot, just for like reference.
We should do it.
If your characters weren't Power Rangers, what would they do?
Slug it in these streets.
Yeah. We would. That's criminals. Straight criminals. But we were doing it for like, yeah, we were like good guys. We were, stealing from the rich. Yeah, we want to do what is it?
Don't you want to just do
Yeah, don't you want to something like that? Make some change. Come on, Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, when Jack retired and got to go into business with that Alley character.
Yeah.
You think they're still married?
Definitely not.
Thanks, man. Last one, you.
This one's from Brandon.
Yeah.
What's up?
When we throw you a curveball, it's not Power Rangers.
Oh no. Okay. What do you know?
Look, rookie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Working with every one of the cast that you did. One of me, my wife's favorite scenes was when Alicia broke into Elijah's house.
Yes, I remember that.
Working with Alicia, how did it feel to have someone match Xavier's darkness of like, I may be a cop, but I straight don't care, I'm just trying to fail.
Say that question one more time.
How did it feel to film that scene with?
Alyssa.
Yeah.
Liz, how did it feel to film that scene?
Yeah.
It was cool, man. I think, like the first part of the scene, which I don't think they show, is that like they had this like, because I was like waking up in a bed with a woman, so they had this like random woman, like we were like lying in the bed together, like it was weird. And like those moments where like my job is I have a weird job.
Yeah, this is weird.
Like this is just a weird moment. But it was great. It was a good scene. It was a long scene. And so she's a great actress, and just love working with her. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. That was incredible. Thank you guys for everybody for coming out. Thank you for coming out, everybody.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be out of business a little bit more.
Come and check out.
Can you guys feel warm?
Nope.
Okay, no.
Eric,